Oh
Is there
yes,
a
Motete, my favorite necromancer, instead my...
is is there some history to that name?
For Motete?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a long history. It's a colloquialism in Puerto Rico. Your motetes and it's like the stuff that you bring with you. So he like brings, like his minions along with him.
Oh, that's awesome. Is it stuff like you bring with you after death, posthumously?
No, just like your motetes are the things that like if you're like going on a trip, it's like your toothbrush and stuff like that.
So these animated corpses are just little knickknacks that you decided to bring.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, there was in Puerto Rico, there was a guy who used to hang around in the bus stop, and he had like a lot of bags and stuff with him, and my grandma called him Motete.
That's awesome. Like clever names.
Anybody want to summarize what we did last week?
Missed out on a lot of loot.
We dropped the treasure out of the sky. We traveled to this place that has this giant ooze. We found this giant ooze, found that it's not particularly passable, and last we heard, Gerhardt had kicked a little rubble into the ooze.
Well,
mechanical flying tentacles were on their way.
More specifically, we were probing and testing the ooze, or the unknown substance, to see what it would and would not dissolve. Pretty much everything living or non-living we put in there was destroyed except for the chunk of building material that I broke off and put in there, but as soon as I broke it off, I pissed it off.
Don't try and make it sound reasonable. That's not how this works.
And then I think it was the final word was we had some number, I think maybe 4 of these tentacle-like things flying towards us / me, and kind of like, and then break for a commercial.
The number was 8.
8. Oof.
That is where we will begin our session today.
I see how slick you are. I see how slick you are concerned trying to have the number.
Yeah. It seems smaller when I remember it.
Should we go ahead and roll initiative for?
Yes, please. So, you guys were messing with the tower, and when you did, suddenly you hear the sound of like a flying through the air. Gerhardt, you look up and you see these tentacles, mechanical-like. They have like these plates kind of interlocking and secting. They're flying towards you. Each of them are hovering in the air. They kind of have this glowy yellow or glowy blue circle at the end of them. So like the tentacles are almost coming out of this glowy blue circle as they hover towards you.
Ah! Look! I point.
The glowing blue circle, Cora, does it seem to be like central to the creature? Or do they seem to be independent entities as far as we can tell?
Do they seem to be independent? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, do they seem independent entities, or do they seem like a cohesive, like bound together by one thing?
Give me an Arcana check.
How can I stop asking things that I'm not proficient in?
Cora, could you toss my warhorse in there?
No.
Please.
I think the no may have been to me with the 2.
You have no idea.
I think they're wriggling flying snakes at this point.
They're flying tentacles, and that's throwing you off guard. You have no idea what you're thinking about. Motete, as you see these things whirling towards Gerhardt, what would you like to do?
I will cast Fireball.
Woohoo!
Ooh.
Oh snap!
Come on.
Oh snap!
That will hit Gerhardt.
Gerhardt's a little nervous. Sweat's dripping down his head.
There?
Sure. I'll let you hit all 6 of those.
Okay.
So as you see these tentacles coming out, you pull out a thing of guano and you throw it at. Let's see how many of them pass.
That move was batshit crazy.
Exactly one. One of them passes. You do notice that when you do this, they seem to almost be a little bit of heat resistant. They will still take half damage. So this 35 reduced to 17? 17.
Okay. And sure.
Let me just input all these numbers.
That was just a regular fireball, right? It doesn't stay sustained or anything? Okay, yeah, that was my question.
That's actually 8. The far one, the farthest one back here seems to have gotten out of most of the fireball, though, as you exploded it. But it was just this loud explosion. And when you see the explosion, you see some of the clear film that has kind of you've been experimenting with seems to have almost been blasted away, and then immediately fills back up, as almost as if it's a lake of some kind. Remark.
I am not at 22. It didn't take my initial one. I'm at 11. I apologize.
Oh, shoot, it didn't do that for me either. I was at 10.
Yeah, I had my character selected.
Sorry.
It's just being weird today.
Who's at 10? Grandma?
Gerhardt.
Gerhardt?
Wait, so does that mean that I'm going next anyway? Yeah, it looks like I am. Alright, I will go ahead and fire with my non-magical longbow now at the closest. That puts damage.
Right there. Just ping whichever one you want to shoot at. That one? Okay. You're shooting with you said your non-magical longbow?
Yeah, when I took the Blade of Medusa, I had to give up my longbow ability, so I no longer have a magical longbow.
Gotcha. So you take a shot at this thing, and it wriggles right past it. It almost wraps itself around it, but it completely dodges your arrow.
Is there... I know you described the area as Broken Cityscape, but I'm also looking at the map. Is there anywhere that looks viable for hiding from a character perspective?
So you guys are kind of like at the edge of this film that's kind of floating in the air. You could potentially run back, get behind a rock somewhere further away, but right next to this edge, no.
Okay, then I would like to use my full 50 feet of flying speed to fly back behind cover if I can find it. You just want me to move back to the edge of the map?
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Just give me a high stealth check then, please.
Yep. Hopefully a high stealth check. 18.
18, sounds good. Gerhardt.
Alright, approximately how high are they floating off from the ground that I'm standing on? Are they reachable?
They're kind of different directions. They're definitely coming at you, so most of them are going to be within reach. Some of them are a little the further out they are, the little higher up they are. They almost like gone up and then swooping down towards you. So the ones that are closest to you are going to be lower. The ones that are further from you are going to be a little higher.
I could conceivably melee them, though.
Yes.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to draw my sword, bonus action, Shield of Faith on myself, so casting Shield of Faith. +2 for myself and my horse to AC. And then I'm going to have my horse move up here. My horse is going to. Oh, I named my horse, by the way, Land Biscuit. Is going to use a hooves attack against the nearest one there.
Mounts can't attack.
So I guess this is up to your judgment because it's a fine steed. It's operating independently, and I'm just riding atop it.
It does have an increased intelligence.
Yeah, and I can communicate with it telepathically, and it's extremely loyal. So it's up to you.
I was gonna say you've had it attack independently before, Cora. It did against the monks in the temple.
But I wasn't mounted on it in that point.
Good point.
So the way I was thinking of it was I'd be mounted on it, but it's acting independently under my orders telepathically, and I'm just kind of along for the ride. It's your call.
Hold on, I'm just reading mounted combat.
If you're not cool with that, that's fine.
No, I think I'll allow it. I'm reading the wording, just making sure. Yeah.
Sure. Then would you need me to roll its own initiative? Because it's independent?
Yes, please.
So it would go before me.
That means you could. That's fine. You could have it move and attack then, since it did actually go before you. Then.
Okay, so it's moving and attacking, and then that was its turn. For a 19 to hit, for 12 bludgeoning. Non-magical.
Okay, so it goes to hit a 19 will hit. That 12 just cracks this this tentacle and it breaks apart and kind of clinks on the ground as it breaks into multiple pieces here.
Cool. And then is it the mount's turn or is it mine?
Now it is your turn.
Okay. In that case, while remaining mounted, I am going to throw an Eldritch Blast at this one.
17, 17, 17, 17.
Since I
It's
cannot
5
move.
is...
Blah. Oh, ignore the dueling, sorry. So if it hits, 2 force damage.
93. Jesus. He almost took out this Kraken by himself. 24 will hit for 2 force damage. Shink! It is still standing.
Okay, and that's my turn.
I gotta keep track because each one of these things also damages the Kraken. Grandma.
Maybe if I throw it a treat, it will leave us alone. She will use the magic of Druidcraft to take some peanut brittle out of her pouch and magically imbue it, and then she'll throw some at the nearest tentacle. It's the magic stone spell, FYI.
Got it.
Just at the closest one to me.
That's some good
A
peanut brittle.
12 will
Yeah.
miss, but a 24 will hit as you crack into this tentacle and it falls down into the ooze as well.
Potent peanut brittle.
And Tulip will defend herself if something comes at us.
Okay. That is the tentacle's turn.
Ooh, it's about to get freaky.
They surround you. There's going to be 4 tentacle slams against you.
My AC is
Wow.
21.
3 of those miss. The critical hit will hit for 24 bludgeoning damage as you're deflecting all of them, but there's just too many as one of them whack hits you in the back of the head. It feels like you just got slammed by a crowbar. Oh, knocks you a little dizzy there, but yeah, you take 24 bludgeoning damage. Misty.
I will shoot that one there. No, wait, I'm sorry. One there.
Okay.
My bow. A 30 to hit.
A 30 will definitely hit. For 20 reduced.
Magical.
It's
magical.
You have a +3 bow? Where'd you get a +3 bow from?
I traded my sword of the Medusa.
That one's very dead. You shoot it, a few more clink, 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 clink. As these things are just falling apart left, right, and center. When they break apart, you see that the glowing blue light at the end of it just kind of fades out as well.
I will move a little further away from it.
Okay.
My turn.
At the end.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There's no place to hide there, you said, right?
Back if you go a little further off the edge, there's places to hide. If you'd like to hide.
Okay, then I will back. I won't. I'll just stay there because I can't. My bow is short. Number. None.
Okay. At the top of the round, Gerhardt, as you're kind of fighting off all of these tentacles, you suddenly feel as the film off the edge of the bridge reaches up out of the ground and smacks you right in the face. You take 12 acid damage.
Wait, I got 21 AC.
Oh, your token says 19. Oh, you have Shield of
Shield
Faith
of
on.
Faith.
Shield of Faith, yeah.
Yeah, 19 will miss.
Whew. Ah.
You see this pseudopod come out of the ground and just smack right against your Shield of Faith, missing you. Motete.
Shoot a magic missile at this one here.
Okay.
I think that's wrong. Just take the 9 number.
Things have magical resistance.
And then +2 staff power.
I think it only actually would have had 2 more speed.
I don't
Oh,
know
why
why it's
retconning now.
King 4.
I'm sorry, you did. It was magic, just regular magic missile.
Yep.
That should be 9, right?
9 and then +2 because of the staff of power bonus.
F power. Okay. Yeah. So it just these things go straight into this. The gaps of this tentacle seems to be breaking it apart, almost separating it, but it's not quite broken. That it does 11 damage. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Warhorse.
It's going to kind of kick back against this one with its hooves. Hey, alright.
Wow.
Good
You
man,
smack
biscuit.
into him. So 17. That is non-magical, so it gets reduced to 8. It is up to. It is on a desk. This thing is barely hanging together. You like most of the tip of the tentacle is like already on the ground, and it's just like waving around the last remains of the tentacle.
Nice.
Anything else?
It'll do nothing else.
Okay, Remart.
I'll poke my head out from behind a rock and I'll shoot it this one.
Okay. A 9 will miss. Or 25
Do I
will
have
hit.
advantage?
25 will hit.
I was gonna ask
Wait.
whether or not I had advantage, and then I will also roll my sneak attack. So 14 probably have.
It's on death's door. That thing is breaks apart, shatters, and the last bit just cracks, and the blue light at the end goes out.
And then I will zip behind a different rock and hiding it.
Okay. You're very hidden. Gerhardt.
Alright, using my sword, I'm going to 2 attacks, one against this one against this one. Ignore the fire damage because I haven't used the bonus action for that yet.
Both of those will hit.
So it would just be the dueling style and slashing damage, so...
So you deal 9 to the first one and 11 to the second one. The second one breaks apart as your sword cuts through it, and it collapses to the ground with the blue light going out.
Alright, and then my bonus action, I'm going to cast Misty Step, which affects both me and the horse. And we're just going to... Skadoodle.
Does it?
Right. What?
Misty Step affect both you and the horse?
It's a Find Steed, so any spell I cast on myself affects the horse.
I gotta play more paladins.
And that's my turn.
Wait, where does it say?
Under Find Steed.
I'm reading Find Steed.
Well, no,
You can make any spell that
cast
targets
spell.
only you, also target your steed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Misty Step targets yourself. Sounds good. Yeah, that works. That's interesting. I've never seen that happen before. As you... A mist that kind of appears at your feet as you step away.
Literally
back
turn
to the
tail
ground.
and run.
Grandma.
Oh, I think that last one had a peanut allergy. Maybe this one has a peanut allergy too.
24 will hit. For 4 piercing, that will break this one. And 11 will miss as the other one dodges past your peanut brittle and comes flying at it.
Wanting to impress Motete, she's gonna like take a position right up here with Tulip. And Tulip's gonna dodge, and she's gonna cast Sanctuary on herself.
Oh, I will say that would have been your 4th Magic Stone you used, so you probably need to cast Magic Stone again to do that 4th one. 'Cause you only get 3.
I can't hear Cora. Can everybody else hear Cora?
No. I didn't know he was speaking.
The light is going.
Now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes my mic goes out on Discord for some reason. No, nothing else, just Discord. Like it was still working on stream. Like I could see it lighting up on stream, but just Discord it stops working for some reason. What was I saying? Oh, I was trying to say that was your 4th Magic Stone you'd used, Grandma. So you'd probably need to cast Magic Stone again in order to make that 4th attack, because you can only have 3 Magic Stones with each cast. Or peanut brittle soon.
I think 11 still misses though.
Grandma?
Grandma's hard of hearing.
She DC'd, feels bad.
Yeah, no, remember Garage has initiative every once in a while.
Rip Grandma. Rest in pepperonis. Is that Grandma returning? Maybe Barrage's mic also just randomly goes out like mine does.
No, he's got
Sometimes it
connection
does,
issues.
but I'm up and I hear you. I don't know if he's got me, but Tulip and I are going to hold position at the front of the bridge to impress Motete, and she's going to cast Sanctuary on herself, which I guess also targets Tulip.
So, I'm not sure if you heard me about the Magic Stone. So that would have been your 4th Magic Stone you had shot. Magic Stone will give you 3 stones, so you'll either need to cast it again as a bonus action or lose the 4th attack. 4th attack technically misses.
The fourth attack will be void.
Okay, then yeah, that's fine. You can cast Sanctuary on yourself, but Interesting.
A brave old bird.
So yeah, you and Tulip now have a sanctuary. That is the tentacles turns. They start running. They go flying off 80 feet.
Wow.
Oh,
One of them goes this way, the other one goes this way. Misty.
oh, I will. If I'm in range of that one, I am. I will shoot it. I'll shoot at that one.
What's your range? 320? Yeah, you have
80.
sharpshooter, right?
83. I do not.
It would be
within 80.
it would be a disadvantage then, because they're actually technically
80.
they're 50 feet off the map.
Oh, then yes, it would be a disadvantage. I'm sorry. I thought they were going. Okay. Oh, that one missed anyway. So that's my turn.
Okay. Motete.
I'm gonna hold a magic missile or a casting. Actually, Toll of the Dead, in case something else pops out.
Okay. The warhorse.
Is going to dodge.
Great. Remart.
I'll pop up out of hiding, and if I've got line of sight, with my 600-foot range, I'll shoot at one of the creatures running away.
You want to shoot the north one or the south one?
North.
Okay. 25 will hit.
And
For
I believe I also have sneak attack with the damage from hiding, correct?
Yep,
So 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. It is not broken.
And then I will bonus action hide again.
Okay. You're very hidden. Gerhardt.
I think I'm just barely in range of this one with Eldritch Blast, 120 feet.
Yeah, you should be in range.
Right, and I completely forgot that Eldritch Blast I can do twice because it's high enough level, so. Keep forgetting to take off dueling spell. 12 and a 19.
The 12 will miss, the 19 will hit for 4 force damage. It is also not broken, but it is hurting real bad.
Pass turn. Oh, shoot. I haven't been rolling concentration checks for my Shield of Faith. Sorry about that.
You only got hit once. It's fine.
Okay. Pass turn.
Grandma.
Does this bridge lead somewhere?
So these are really more, it's not necessarily a bridge, it's more of a broken rooftops and collapsed towers that are kind of at the top of the film here, just sticking out. So you could, in theory, just like jump from rooftop to rooftop if you would like.
Let's go, Tulip. Let's take advantage of this. I mean, come on, Tulip. Let's take advantage of this sanctuary. And we're
You're just gonna try and chase down the tentacles.
maybe not chase them, but like move, like, I don't know. I guess it's sort of hard to visualize. If they're running away, I'm gonna let them go. But I'll like stand out in the middle of the bridge just to see if anything else comes out.
Okay. On the tentacles turns, they're gonna continue flying away. You see both of them kind of disappear behind other buildings, and they kind of leave view. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and leave combat. So, Grandma's kind of standing on top of a collapsed tower that's just out over in the ooze. Around you, Grandma, you kind of see that the street below you is about 30 feet down. And all throughout the city here, you see these glass statues kind of just people going about their business, just doing things. Some of them are like walking dogs. Some of them are, playing on swing sets or just talking to one another in the streets. But all these glass statues are kind of set up to be almost interacting with each other as if they were living in the town.
It would seem that perhaps these poor people might have been turned into glass statues, or there is quite a prolific artist.
They seem to notice us.
They don't move.
Oh, okay.
I turn to Motete and ask, is there any way you can discern if this ooze is all of one entity?
Let me consult my spellbook.
I may have found a workaround for not having to ask the questions that get me to roll things now. I just need to ask the right party member stuff.
I like that.
Grandma will use a divine sense to see if there's anything unworldly about the situation.
Okay. Will you link Divine Sense for me, please?
Yeah, when I get back from the cupboard, I'm getting a snack at the moment. But basically, if there's a celestial fiend or undead present within 60 feet, or if the area is hallowed, I'd know about it.
Okay. So you kind of you sense around you, and you do not sense any celestials, fiends, undeads, or consecrated areas, desecrated areas, I should say.
Well, we came all this way. Shall we risk the wrath of the ooze to explore, or?
Part of me wants to hear what Motete figures out, because I have a concept in mind that might burn one of those fifth level spells.
Sorry, what's Motete figuring out?
Whether or not it's all one entity.
Can I make a medicine check? Or something like that?
I'll let you do a nature check. You're trying to figure out if the ooze is all one entity.
Okay.
So you kind of scan through. You look at the ooze. You're trying not to get too close. You know it's an ooze now, as you saw it kind of shoot out with its pseudopod. And you come to the realization that this entire city is filled with one massive, gigantic gelatinous cube. This is like unworldly size for a gelatinous cube.
So we just have to kill it.
Okay, so all we do is back up and Remert and I'll just shoot arrows at it till it dies. It'll only take a few days.
This thing has like
maybe a few months.
Or, well, one of the things I was going to ask Pepe, or anybody else that would be knowledgeable of oozes, is are they indigenous to our plane? Or do you think a banishment would send them to another plane permanently?
It could, but usually monsters of that caliber have very strong resistances, almost legendary caliber. But we could try.
My magical training has informed me that creatures like demons, devils, elementals are from other planes.
Holy shit.
Oozes and that sort, I believe, are of this world.
Okay.
But that is just an assumption on my part.
With that knowledge in mind, I would only be able to get rid of the ooze for 1 minute. I'd be able to clear the pathway for us, but then it would come back.
Dude has banishment.
Would you guys prefer instead that I fly over to, and I'm going to ping where I'm talking about, the roof of that, and then send my broom back to get you one at a time, and then we just all transport onto the roof and work from the roofs of some of the taller buildings?
Before you do that, and this might be a ridiculous idea, but should we try talking to it?
Go for it. Ooziest of oozes, we entreat you.
Walking up as close as I feel comfortable to the ooze, I attempt to communicate to it in the 4 languages I know: Common, Elvish, Primordial, and Sylvan. And see if there's any effect.
You're just speaking to it?
Yeah, just like greetings, any signs of intelligent life.
How close are you getting to the use?
Not too close, maybe like 10 feet away, and then shouting.
Okay. So you walk up, you begin shouting at the ooze in multiple languages. And then suddenly out of the ooze, a kind of hand reaches up and tries to slash at you as it just reaches out whoosh, ridiculously long. It's gonna try and pseudopod you. 19 to hit.
I'm assuming my Shield of Faith is worn off.
It only lasts a minute, right?
I don't know. I'll just see.
I think it's 10 minutes, isn't it?
10 minutes.
I'll let it be going then. So you once again this pseudopod comes out, whoosh, blasts on your Shield of Faith, and sucks back into the ooze, and it goes calm once more, almost like sheen glass
Guys,
this time.
I don't think it wants to talk. And that is why I have an intelligence of 8.
If necessary, I can cast fly.
You'd have an inspiration for that.
Who?
Gerhardt, you can have inspiration for that.
Can I donate it? I already have it.
Mr. Motate.
I think inspiration's lost between sessions.
Oh, well then,
If
I
you
lost it and now I have it. Thank you.
Will you be able to fly Tulip too, or is she gonna have to stay behind?
I would prefer to. I can only concentrate on one spell at a time.
If you cast it on Tulip, can't Grandma just ride Tulip? Instead of casting it on Grandma?
Oh, you smart.
Indeed.
Fairly reasonable.
She really would be a reindeer. Holy shit.
Jingle
Well,
bells.
Well, let's see. We got somebody with a broom of flying, right?
Yeah, I can go and I can ferry individuals over. I just can't get the big beasts.
Okay. So let's see how many people I can.
If you could get the 2 mounts with yourself, Motete, then you'd be able to get effectively the whole party over. Because I could pick up
Somebody
any.
could probably ride the reindeer. Someone could probably ride the reindeer with me too.
Chat easier to read.
So I can cast it on 3 people.
Yeah, if you hit the 2 mounts and yourself, then we're golden because Misty can jump on either with one of the others or with me on the broom.
So just I need 2 or 3.
Well, if you cast it on yourself and then the 2 mounts. Or you can just cast it on the 2 mounts to reduce the load.
Yeah, I would say do it on the mounts, and then you can hop on, potentially, if it can carry the load.
Okay.
After you cast it on one of the mounts, let's kind of test above solid ground that the mount can fly with 2 humanoids on it.
So you're doing a 4th level fly then?
Yeah.
Okay.
On both of the mounts.
So Motete casts a 4th level fly on Tulip and
Land Biscuit.
Land Biscuit. He climbs on the back of one of them. Misty climbs on the back of the other one, and using his broom of flying, Remart follows suit. You guys are able to pretty much fly wherever you would like to go at this point. So,
Motete, I hope you took a ride on Tulip with Grandma.
Is Grandma getting a little frisky for Motete?
Sure, I'll ride with Grandma.
While they do that, I'm going to
Ooh la la.
go ahead and fly out towards one of the higher buildings. Can I get an idea, like elevation wise, if any of the buildings are above 10 feet of the ooze?
Yeah, sure. All these ones you see, they're kind of like sticking out more. Like these towers here, these are probably only a few feet off. These buildings here are all going to be significantly higher. This building here is probably a good 50 feet out of the ooze at the top. This one's probably a good 30 feet out of the ooze at the top. The ooze itself is only about 30 feet deep.
Okay.
You look over there at the bottom end. There's an observatory. With a telescope. That'd be sciencey, wouldn't it?
Could you ping where?
Oh.
If you guys want, we could go explore that one first.
Okay. Yeah, you got to pick something.
I would just think a scientist would probably go there. It's
Sounds
sciencey,
good
isn't
to
it?
me. While the others are flying, because they have a limited amount of time to fly, I'm gonna fly patrol, make sure, like I'm saying, not Vanguard, because Vanguard's forward, rear guard, in case any more of the tentacles show up, so I can give them plenty of warning.
Okay. So Remart kind of does patrol work as the other two mounts fly over to this. What's it called?
Observatory.
Observatory. Thank you. I'm just completely blanking on the name. You find a broken section of the observatory that's kind of cracked in, a place you can enter. Moving apart some of the rocks, you're able to get the larger seeds within inside. You find yourself in a large tower. It's furnished, but it's definitely decayed over the years as it's been just sitting here. Dominating the central area of the room is a large telescope. Sitting inside the room are three statues. You see someone who looks like an adventurer who's kind of with a look of horror and hands in front of his face. He's been placed directly in front of the telescope as if he's looking through it. You see a Kenku who is bowing and with reverence off to a side, staring directly at the person observing through the telescope. And then you see a gnome off to a side, a glass statue of a gnome that seems to be holding its hands in front of it pleadingly.
And all three of these are glass statues, they're not stone.
They are glass statue. But they look very, very realistic.
Real quick, before we get too far, Gerhardt's going to turn to Motete and say, Motete, please remember to reserve one of your spell abilities to cast flies for the return journey.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I don't want to be stranded.
Having seen the creatures turn to statue, can they all appear as if they were seeing something when they turn to statue, or do they not necessarily have their gaze turned towards anything in particular?
Do they have a
give me a nature check. Actually, give me a
I'm
medicine
sorry, I missed
check. We'll do a medicine check.
A medicine check?
Yeah.
common focal point?
I'm not asking questions anymore. Hey, that wasn't too bad.
You kind of think about this, and then you look at the statues. They all seem to be in very agitated, kind of defensive poses of some kind. They definitely seem to be staring at something. They don't have pupils because they're just glass, but they do seem as if they were staring at something, yes.
I turn to Motete, given that he is our lore master, per se, and Grandma, given that she's seen most of the world. In your two's travels, have either of you come across something that would cause creatures to transform based on them seeing it.
I'm only aware of one such creature, but I thought they turned people to stone. The Gorgons, the Medusa.
Could it be possible that, given our person that we are investigating at this time seems to operate a little outside the normal bounds of things, do you think it could have altered something to have this effect instead?
I'm gonna, if I can DM, and if the group will let me, I want a ritual cast to detect magic.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
So you guys watch as Motete ritually casts detect magic. This is one of my favorite questions. What actions are you taking to ritually cast? How does your character perform their rituals when they ritually cast?
He lights some black candles, and he cuts his hand and drips some blood over the candles, and then he smears the black wax across his eyes.
I'm sure your parents back in the 80s would have loved to be hearing that right now. So Motete performs a very classic witchcraft ritual as he performs his ritual casting. At the end, once you've smeared the black grease across your eyes, you open them, and once more, you guys see that his eyes are now glowing, and you look around, you can kind of sense any magic around you. The first thing you notice, Motete, is that there is kind of a magical glow coming from the lens of the telescope within the observatory, kind of far above you, out in the sky. As for the rest of the room seems to be unmagical.
And statues?
Statues themselves are also not magical.
It appears that only the telescope lens is magical. The statues are not.
And there's one of the statues looking through the lens, is that correct?
Correct.
And you, one with the picture, the portrayal of abject horror, correct?
Correct. Yes. So I should clarify. The lens that the statue is looking for isn't the magical one. It's the one on the other end of the telescope, out in the sky.
Okay. The big one.
Correct.
I tell my Raven Karen to go look through the telescope. But I just want it to telepathically communicate. I don't want to see through its eyes.
Okay. So you send your Raven over. She hops on the shoulder of the statue. She looks down in, and she looks up and turns to you. Can you communicate telepathically with it?
Yeah.
So, can she send? Do you want her to send you images of what she saw, or just tell you what she saw?
What? Just tell me what she saw.
Okay. She saw dazzling lights. The telescope didn't seem to necessarily see far distance so much as it seemed to almost diffract in like rainbow. She saw like rainbow patterns appearing.
Kaleidoscope style?
Well, it appears that peering through the telescope causes no harm. I would assume. Perhaps there are some notes here. See if there were any like documents to like what kind of research they were doing. What kind of stuff they were looking at.
As you think that, you look around, you notice that all of the bookshelves within the observatory have been completely emptied.
Gerhardt's gonna look around a bit and is there any strange metal. What would he call wires? Strange metal threads around here, like there were at the that monastery.
Give me a perception check. You do not see any strange metal threads or any threads at all leading away from here to anywhere else.
So I've got something I'd like to do. I just don't know whether or not it's something that would be reasonable for the character to know. So I'd like to describe it, and then based on what you decide, will be whether or not he attempts it or not. Given
Okay, go ahead.
Given the way, one of the ways to bring back someone that has been frozen in stone by a basilisk is to use Greater Restoration, and I've got those 3 5-level spells to burn. I was thinking maybe using one of the spells as a Greater Restoration on the most knowledgeable appearing person within this chamber. And I just don't know if my character would know that, despite having a little bit of arcane nature with being a warlock.
I would assume the one looking through the telescope would be the one.
Right, I just don't know if my character would know, because he doesn't have access to these spells via his character naturally. So like I've been trying to figure out how I would utilize the spells you gave me access to, Cora, while still staying true to what the character would still know.
Let's make this easy for you. We'll say that the card you drew has kind of instilled upon you the vast knowledge of all of the 5th level or lower spells temporarily. So when you've finished utilizing them, you'll no longer have that knowledge. But while it's still available to you, you can kind of siphon through and have knowledge of the entirety of the spell list that you can access. And it almost overwhelms you with how much information you know about magic. But you innately know that once this is gone, it's gone.
Okay. Or you could say you do it without knowing or thinking about it. You just instinct.
So, with that being said, the person looking through the telescope was the one that's, much like I said, looked most knowledgeable. I would like to use one of the 3 uses and do Greater Restoration.
Okay. So you reach over and touch the one who's looking through the telescope. You cast Greater Restoration on them. Instantly, you watch as the glass disappears. Standing there instead is the body of a man who looks exactly like the glass statue, flesh and all. And he immediately collapses. Dead.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Shit. Can I investigate his body and see, one, if I can figure out how he died and see if he has anything on him that might be of use to us?
Perhaps I can restore him.
Oh.
You're not going to make him undead, are you?
Okay.
But he was more of use to us alive for now.
Motete, you walk over and you immediately start beginning patching him up. He doesn't seem to have any wounds at all.
Machete, are you capable of communicating with the deceased?
Guys, I'm capable of bringing the dead back right now. The thing...
That's 5th level?
Yeah, raised dead is 5th level. The thing that determines whether or not I'd be able to do it is whether or not he's been dead since he got turned, or if he just died by being brought out. Is there a way to ascertain that, Cora?
You could do a medicine check, potentially.
I'm going to defer to someone that is better at those things.
This is such an interesting way they're
I
kind
know,
of
little
dealing
medicine,
with. I have to think on my feet a lot.
First aid.
I have to think about what's viable and what I can actually allow. And
Most skilled.
And what? What were you trying to do? Medicine? Yeah.
Grandma, you realize that this person has been dead for quite a while, and you also kind of determine that your worst nightmare has come true. They died of starvation.
Oh,
Oh, that's so sad.
that is actually really sad if you think about it.
Wait, they died of starvation while in stasis?
Apparently, it wasn't stasis.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
that's
the way to
that's
go.
torturous. Gerhardt says a small prayer for all the people.
Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We now know that they're not savable. There are no notes. Would it be possible for anyone that is particularly well versed in tracking to look for any signs of movement, especially those of a more recent nature?
You can try. Shall I do so?
Go for it.
This land belongs to a gelatinous cube.
I don't see
imagine
anything.
too
Misty,
much.
you look around the room for signs of recent movement, and everything kind of has a layer of dust on it. Some vines have grown over. You do not find any tracks of movement at all.
Would I be able to search the body of this now deceased man?
Sure. You
See if
you dig through his pockets, and you find an emblem of a Medusa's head.
Ah. I found this, guys. I don't know what it means, though.
Looking at that, does that look similar to the symbolism that we see on the big building over here?
Indeed, it does. It is made entirely of glass as well.
Am I touching this barehanded?
Do you want to touch it barehanded?
No. I have gloves on, or I have a cloth around it. I hope.
Sure.
I gingerly set it back down on his body. Is this something we should take with us, or is it too dangerous?
Motete, your eyes are still shining for detect magic, right?
Yeah. For the
This
next
item is
minute.
not magical.
Oh, phew. Thank you, Mutete. I'll pocket it for now, just to see if it might be useful later.
Given where
I
we're
want to look
looking,
in the telescope. I want to look through the telescope and see the lights.
Okay. So you take a look in the telescope. As you look in, you see that there is the reflective mirror that many telescopes have. It's crystal clear through the actual lens. But reflected in the mirror and reflected into the lens are these beautiful rainbow patterns. You notice now that it's very much diffracted light. You know, like when you shine light through a prism, it spreads out into a rainbow. This is what you're seeing. Is this telescope just seems to be filled with this diffracted light.
What do you see?
You see lots of rainbows. It's very pretty. Can we get the magic thing off the end, do you think? Is it too big?
Perhaps it's out of focus.
I could fly to the other side
Don't
and
know
try
what
and
that
use
means.
my useful to adjust things. So that, if you guys could give me directions from where you're at, I could go and attempt to, on my broom, carry out what we desire up at the top.
Is there like any mechanism for the telescope that we can control?
The telescope has many of the normal mechanisms you know for moving the location to where it's pointed at, changing all of those mechanics look to be operational as far as you can tell. So you could potentially move the telescope as you wish.
Whatever you do not look at the Medusa head on the temple.
Maybe see pretty colors too.
Given what we've seen thus far, I'm very concerned that we may be dealing with something of a transformative magical nature.
Try to adjust the settings on the telescope to see if anything can come into focus. See what they were looking at.
Are you telling somebody to do it, or are you saying you're going to do that?
I think somebody volunteered to adjust the controls.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hand, but I don't know. You'll have to tell me what to do.
Okay.
I will keep looking until I see something not in lights. So you guys
Okay.
adjust.
How long do you want to spend doing this?
Days and days.
Days and days.
About an hour and call it a short rest. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You guys can spend a short rest just looking through a telescope. I don't mind.
If they do that, once it becomes clear that they're going to be fiddling with it for a while, I'd like to go keep a eye out from above, just to make sure nothing's coming up on it. Play the sentry.
Okay, so you guys spend about an hour moving this telescope around. As you move it, you notice that the rainbows kind of move and change as you're looking at different parts of the sky, but it just seems to continue being rainbows. The direction of the light is diffracting in different ways as the telescope moves and changes, but doesn't actually seem to no longer be diffracting. You spend about an hour doing it pretty consistently, thoroughly, trying to find every possible point you can, and it doesn't seem to ever not diffract light, I should say. And yeah, you guys can have a short rest if you like, so you can roll some hit dice. If you need to. I think the only person who even took damage was Gerhardt, so.
Yeah.
At this point, we're no longer time constrained because we're not necessarily following the Cartophile directive anymore. Now we're exploring more out of our own interests. So, if you guys want, we can attempt to do this methodically, utilizing Motete's capabilities at casting his spells, and then we can go to a safe area off the side of the city and make camp and attempt to clear this area section by section.
Well, I think we should at least check out this building, and then finally this building.
Just recognize that every time we land, unless we pick up and go pretty quick, we're burning resources from.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Can't fly all the time.
Is there, from what I saw when I flew in, does it look like there's any kind of non-flight pathway to any of these buildings?
Okay, go under the ooze.
Without going through the ooze. Ouch.
Well, just looking at this map, it seems like there's a Colosseum-looking place. This place over here. The Medusa. Possibly the clock tower. And then this large building here.
Yeah, it seems like we have at least 4 or 5 significant locations to be explored. But to access each of those, unless we're going to try to do rooftop hopping, which puts you guys in range of getting whacked, unless we can figure out a way to eliminate the ooze.
Well, I mean, I got 2 more castings at 4th level and then the 5th level.
Right, I'm thinking more about so we can explore another building today, and then we go, potentially 2 more buildings today.
Yeah.
Even though that's going to leave kind of shortchanged if we get into anything nasty.
Right.
But we can explore 2 more buildings and then we rest up, and then we go more methodically doing it to make sure we're conserving your resources. Because without you, everybody else ends up stranded to a degree.
Well, let's go and check out the Colosseum next. And I'll cast a level 4 on the mounts.
Does everybody do that?
Fine by me.
Before we go, can I see if, based on what Latete described as the magical device, if it's something that's removable?
You want to fly to the tip of the telescope?
Yeah.
You fly to the tip of the telescope. You see at the end of it is what looks like a large, almost diamond-like crystal. Give me a perception check.
Ooh.
I'm wondering about the dimensions of it, because it might not be feasible for me to handle. 24.
It's only about a foot long, but you come to the realization that while it looks exactly like the other glass in the area, including the glass statues, this one seems to almost diffract light, where the other ones are very see-through. Well, most of these glass statues are incredibly transparent, and you almost have to like angle the light in a way so you can see the features of each of the glass statues. But this one seems to almost reflect and shine brightly because it's deflecting light in a way. And it's rainbow patterns are like appearing inside of the diamond-like gem as well.
Can I utilize my thieves tools in an attempt to remove it and take it down to Matete for examination?
Yeah, give me a dexterity thieves tools check, please. You take your thieves tools and you get underneath the edge, and you find that there's almost like an airtight seal kind of surrounding the gem, but you're able to get your thieves tool right in there, and as you do, it pops, and you pops out a little bit as the seal breaks. You grab the gem and you pull it out. It's not very heavy. It's actually incredibly light for its size. It's about a foot across, which only seems to weigh a couple pounds. You're holding it in your hands, and it feels smooth, and you notice that as you look through it, it continues making these rainbow patterns appear.
Can we still, even with the rainbow patterns, can you still see the general shape beyond it? Or does it like completely distort everything? Like you no longer have a visible image on the other side of it?
It kind of distorts everything. Things that are like directly behind it kind of get pulled off to the side and get changed in these rainbow patterns. When you look like off to the side, you see things that are like far to your right kind of being deflected in. As they get distorted and distracted, they get curved almost like 90 degrees as the light moves in.
Okay. I'm going to take it on down to Motete for him to do his magic genius stuff with.
Okay. I'll ritual cast Identify.
So you ritually cast Identify on it, and you have a pearl worth 100 gold pieces, right?
No. So I guess not. I guess I didn't buy enough pearls.
Just needs one.
It doesn't consume a pearl, so.
Yeah, it doesn't consume it.
Oh, okay. Well then, yes.
Did you have one previously and you deleted it because you thought you consumed it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. So you take your pearl and you hover over it. What you realize is this thing is almost like a dimension to another place, but you have no idea how to enter it. The glass gem itself seems to be like a magical connection to an extra-dimensional space. You have no idea how to enter it. Your Identify doesn't seem to reveal that itself. But there's like a pocket dimension trapped inside.
Question to the group.
Gotta relate
You guys
that
want
to
me to
the
burn
group.
from the DM for this?
Say again?
Do you guys want me to burn my one true answer from the DM for this?
No. I don't think so. I mean, I'm curious as much as you are, but I don't think this is a... Let's find some more greater mysteries to burn that question on.
We could conceivably take it with us, and then if we have no other use for the question, use it on that.
Sounds good to me. Just putting it out there, because
I
I've still
love this
got
city.
resource-wise
It's so
for
like
the cards.
rich in this
Two
weird,
fifth
strange
levels
mystery.
and the question.
But yeah, it's
'Cause, I mean,
so
this is
out
the
of the
first
realm
building
of players normally. They're
Discovered.
just sitting here just kind of discussing it.
Or
Like, with
explored.
no idea. They legitimately have no idea what's going on. And
Right, so
I
you
think
said
that's
we were
so
going to
cool
cause
when that
some
happens. I'm sorry. What did you say? I was talking to stream.
It was an inter-group conversation about whether or not I should burn my question to you.
Okay.
And we decided. So I'm good with that. We're gonna head on over using Motete's fly to the Coliseum, correct, guys?
Yeah,
So you're burning another 4th level then?
that's right.
Okay. So you recast fly on the steeds, and then you guys head out of the observatory. That's the term, and move over to the Coliseum. Most of the bottom of the Coliseum is filled with this ooze. The top layer is still clean. You see it's very cracked and broken. Everything below the ooze level is in pristine condition. You see that there are people in knights outfits who are kind of shaped with their swords held out in front of each other as if they're trying to defend themselves. You see all throughout these stands are people kind of in positions of horror and terror or reverence, just kind of placed in the stands as if they're watching a match between these two statues in the center.
So we're gaining a consistent theme of the people that lived there being either terrified of what was happening to them or in some kind of religious awe. With that in mind, does it seem like maybe we're dealing with something related to that temple that we saw earlier?
I think further investigation of the area in order. We'll do a general sweep, go around the Coliseum, see if there's anything out of the ordinary.
While we're walking around, can I keep an eye out for any reflective material that I can find that's not down in the ooze?
You're really quiet, variable. I'm not sure if your
Can
mic
you hear
is
me
just
better now?
a little
Can
bit.
you hear me better now?
What are you looking for? I'm sorry.
Like a reflective material, like a polished metal, or anything of that nature.
Like
in
a
the
mirror.
Upper part of the console. A mirror, polished metal, anything that could be used as a reflective viewing piece.
Sure. Everybody give me a kind of a group perception check here. As you guys are wandering around looking through the various statues in the stands, as well as around you and looking for polished metal as well. All right, who are we missing? There we go. So as a group, you guys do a full loop around this Coliseum. You're looking specifically for a reflective surface remark. You find that there's a very well-polished shield lying off of one side. You pick it up. You feel like that would be a good reflective surface for what you're thinking to use it for. And Motete, as you are moving around, you notice that the two gladiators in the center, one of them is holding a sword in front of him, the other one's holding a mace in front of him. And you kind of come to the realization that while everyone else is very see-through, it catches the corner of your eye that the mace is shining rainbow patterns similar to what the lens of the observatory was doing.
Interesting.
It's almost like a rainbow kind of encompassing this gladiator around him as the light is deflected in that way, almost putting an aura around the gladiator from the light.
And this is down in the ooze?
This is down in the ooze, yes.
If you guys like, I have Mage Hand Ledger Mate, which means that my Mage Hand is capable of looking double the amount. I could attempt to pull them out.
It's like the mace
Try?
tip, right? So like the mace bit at the so it's attached to the handle that's in the guy's hand. So it's this long glass handle coming out of the guy's hand. At the tip of it is this crystal that seems to be deflecting rainbows.
Well, with
Didn't you?
go ahead.
Didn't you try to do a mage hand once into the ooze?
Yeah, and the Mage Hand was unaffected by the ooze.
Oh, it was unaffected. Oh, okay.
Well, we're still flying, so you can fly right over it. See if you can try to mage hand at it.
DM, could I go ahead and try and Mage Hand and then use full on dexterity check to try and remove that piece of mace and bring it up to us?
Sure. So you guys fly over the center of the arena. Remart, you cast Mage Hand down at the end of the mace. Your Mage Hand reaches down. It grabs the end of the mace and it tries pulling. And you realize that the mace is definitely attached to the handle. And is therefore far too heavy for your Mage Hand to remove.
Okay, so instead of trying to remove it, given the fact that it's made of glass, could I have my mage hand go and take a 9-pound rock and attempt to utilize that rock to break the handle below where the mace top is?
Perhaps a Eldritch Blast might be in order.
That would work. That won't work because you can't target anything but a creature with an elf.
That's true.
It's sad.
But the
would've
statues are creatures, are they not? Worth a try.
I'm good with it. Go for it.
Is your detect magic still active?
No.
Yeah. So, you want me to try and Eldritch Blast it loose? DM, am I able to target that?
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about a few things you guys have said here. I want to say just like up front, this whole town is such a cool mystery about what's going on here, and you guys are coming up with such creative solutions that I'm having to do a lot of thinking on the spot of how I actually have to handle all this shit. Give me a second.
This is part of the fun.
I know. The statues are not technically creatures, so you can't target them with Eldritch Blast.
Can I throw some peanut brittle?
I don't think Mage Hand can actually make attacks unless
But if it's not, I was going to say it's not an attack, if it's not a creature, correct?
It's still attacking with a rock, is my issue.
You can attack objects.
Yeah.
If we
No,
could
it is not an attack, is it? But it can do, like, because it's Ledger main, it can do specific kinds of actions with it. I'll go ahead and post the description of it, DM, and then you let me know what you think is okay for it to do.
Yeah, I'm reading the description.
What if we
could throw magic stones at it?
Right, jar it loose, and then Mage Hand can retrieve it.
I'm good with that idea.
You could definitely throw magic stones at it.
Alright, everybody, pick up a stone and start throwing.
Actually, wait. Do magic stones attack creatures?
No, the stones can be utilized for anything. That's actually one of the specific utilizations of the spell. Because it's just a stone.
Yeah, you can throw magic stones at it. So, Grandma goes and grabs some rocks, and she turns them into, or she has some peanut brittle. She turns her peanut brittle into the magic peanut brittle, and then she immediately starts throwing it into the gladiatory pit. And when she does that, Grandma, make 3 range attacks for me, please. With your peanut brittle. Oh, you crit.
Oh, everybody can throw some peanut brittle. It's a plus 6 to hit, 1d6 plus 3 damage.
You said it's just a d20 plus your attack modifier?
Yeah, it's d20 plus 6.
Okay.
D6 plus 3. I can just roll them out, it doesn't matter.
So, Grandma, your first peanut brittle goes down into the mace and pink breaks it in half. You watch as the crystal bit floats in midair and begins just hovering there, completely disconnected from the mace. The rest of you guys shoot some more magic stones, and you completely destroy the remainder of this mace handle, as well as one of the guy's hands just cracks and shatters. The shattered glass is floating in air.
I would feel a lot worse if I didn't know he were already dead.
Remark, you send down your mage hand. You grab the mace head, and you're able to lift it up. You place it in your hands, and just like the lens, it is noticeably lighter than its actual size. This one's not quite as big as the lens, as it's just the size of a mace head, a few inches across, but it still only weighs a few ounces.
Perhaps we should keep an eye out for items such as this throughout our exploration and see if we can gather them all. Motete, do you mind being the central
Do I mind what?
being the keeper of these artifacts?
Very well.
I will pass over the mace head to him. For him
So
to
far
test
we have.
Jesus.
We have a mace head, a magical lens to another dimension, and a glass Medusa's head. But the Medusa's head is not magical.
Medusa head didn't have this property, from what I understand.
No, I'm keeping it just because it's unique.
With that, let's go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break. It's about halfway through the session. Go ahead and come back at 10 o'clock, right at the top of the hour, guys.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I'll be right back myself.
I'm wondering, guys, those of you that are back, if maybe all the pieces we're collecting are going to be like key to some sort of puzzle to open that extraplanar area.
Yeah, I think they got to be connected in some way, right?
That would be
Okay.
interesting.
It's a little bit odd to go to two separate areas and immediately find two things that are sharing a particular quality like that. That being said, next time we fly, I have an idea. And it may just be completely me overthinking on my end, but if we can fly in a relatively tight formation, um, I could cast Silent Image over us and make us appear as if we're that Sphinx that we initially encountered, which was a creation of Kwalish, I believe. And that'll give us at least some cover from anything that's more intelligent in this area, thinking us we're as potential enemies.
The second level spell.
For me, it's an invocation.
So how many times can you use it?
As an invocation, it's at will.
Oh, well then, yeah, let's do it then.
Yeah. Part of the reason I'm suggesting it is A, I'm not burning any resources to do it because I'm very tight with my resources. B, I'm a little bit concerned from a character perspective about the fact that we got attacked by those tentacles, but we never saw anything directing them. And I don't recall us. They split off and went in two separate directions, so I don't know where they originated from. So that's part of why I'm having my character also play Sentry as much as possible, because I feel like we're not done with that.
Everyone's back. The exception of Barrage will be back in about 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and continue. So you guys have explored this Coliseum a bit, and you found another of these weird rainbow pattern gems. What else? What would you like to do next?
Well, Motete, that nears about the end of your resources for the day as far as flight, other than to get us back to him.
Well, how much time do I have on my fly?
Well, so you guys spent about 10 minutes exploring the Coliseum, so you probably still have another 45 to 50 minutes left on it. It's less than an hour, right?
No, I think it's 10 minutes.
Yeah, flight's only 10 minutes. Duration up to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes, I'm just saying.
Okay. Well then, how about we go to this other building over here?
Before we fall into the ooze.
Yeah.
Well, and he's got another spell to be able to cast it again to get you guys back to mainland for us to set up camp for the night. So, yeah, let's go ahead and bump over one more.
Which building you go to? I'm sorry. Okay. Are you doing your Sphinx thing?
Yeah, if everybody's good with it. If we can just fly relatively tight to each other, I'll make it as if we're the Sphinx from before the flying island.
Like a flying sphinx?
Yeah, that Sphinx had wings on it, though, from what I recall.
Oh, okay. Cool, I'm game.
Okay. So you guys fly over to this, it's almost like a squat tower. It's kind of dominating all the other buildings around it. You see that heaped around the base of the tower, down in the ooze, so there's a bunch of old machinery, clockwork parts. There's piles of, like, broken glass shards, a bunch of, like, oddly shaped glass statues. They're not shaped exactly like people. They're shaped in, like, warped versions of people almost. Some of them are stretched. They almost appear as if viscous, and they've elongated themselves as if they're trying to run away, it seems.
Cora, do any of the parts that you described look similar to those tentacles that we encountered earlier?
They do not.
But they do seem clockwork in nature.
There are clockwork parts down there, yes.
Okay, silly Faerun question right now because Faerun's not my native D&D area. Is clockwork technology common?
Are you asking me or are you asking your party members?
That's more of a player to DM instead of within the game.
Give me a
Because I
history
just
check.
genuinely don't know. It was just genuine curiosity, not.
I know.
Looking for
I'm
an
I'm
advantage.
determining if your character knows it.
Oh, I wasn't asking for the character. I'm asking for me personally, as a non-character.
So meta knowledge still has to pertain to character knowledge, right? So you might, as a character, think they're very strange. This is not something you've seen before. You've never seen these clockworks. You're aware of clocks, like there's a clock tower in the middle, but these seem to be clockwork in nature, as if it's something mechanical that's moving. But that is not a machinery that you have seen before.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
I'm a physician, not a engineer.
I'm more at home in wilderness, so these metal machinations are unfamiliar to me.
Damn it, Karen! I'm a doctor, not a lawyer.
Should we do a perception check again for the area?
You're currently outside the building.
Does there appear to be any
Entrance.
ingress?
So
I'm sorry?
Any way in?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few windows here and there you could easily enter in if you would like.
I would like to, atop my flying mount, scoot up to a window and kind of give it the old lookaroo for traps first.
Sure, give me a perception check. You do not see any traps.
Well, alright then. Is anybody on the horse with me, or is it just me?
I think Misty.
Believe I am riding with you.
I
My
look back at
arm-
Misty and
My
say,
arms tight around your strong body.
woohoo! I say, hang on tight,
Okay.
and we go in.
Okay. Inside, you see a room that is just cluttered with pieces of broken relics scattered everywhere. More of these clockworks are kind of covering the entire area. You see there's kind of like partial armatures everywhere. There's these numerous alchemical furnaces all over the place. As you enter, you see that there's kind of molded glass just kind of everywhere. Notes, diagrams are scattered about, hanging on the walls. You see mechanical drawings all over the place of various machine parts. You see various actual machine parts that reflect the images drawn on the pictures nearby. And in the center, you see hovering around this almost casket that looks very, very familiar to Centimir's coffin. Are the two remaining tentacles you fought with earlier. They're kind of just hovering around the outside edge of this this coffin. Like
Do they
object.
appear to have noticed us?
Not yet.
Alright. I whisper to Misty, should we try and destroy them quickly, or let
I
everybody
shoot
else
them.
know?
I shoot them.
Okay.
Roll
if-
initiative.
Yep.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Well, Gigantic.
I didn't actually make a battle map for this.
They're back. Oh. Damn, look at those rolls.
Got you, little Pepe.
Half of you didn't click on your tokens before rolling initiative.
Oh, I think I clicked it on the other map.
I don't exist on this map because this was when I was in jail.
Can I keep my first roll?
Sure.
Okay.
You can drag your own like warhorse and character onto the map.
Oh,
that way.
yeah, I guess I could have done that. Sorry.
You guys will be outside the building, but you're about one turns away from getting inside, no problem. I was trying to quickly find a. I realized, like, man, I never made a warehouse map, but I'm like, none of these are really right. So we'll just use this map. It's fine.
Question for you, do you... go ahead. Somebody else was asking first. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering why my initiative didn't show up. It keeps going down. Like the 19th.
I'm sorry?
Just adjust your first one. It'd be a mechanical question.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with the surprise round, and I'm not saying that necessarily we are right now, but when you're dealing with the surprise round, do attacks get advantage due to the surprise feature?
Only if they're surprised.
I thought if they're surprised, the only thing you get is just a chance at a round before they have a chance to attack.
That's part of why I was asking, because I wasn't sure.
No, you have advantage against any creature that's surprised in a round.
Oh.
So do we have any indication that they would be surprised when we start firing at them? You know what? You'll just tell me when I fire. So I'm going to go ahead
Hold
and
on, let me make sure that I that's true what I just said.
Okay.
That is not true what I said. There is no advantage against surprise creatures.
Okay.
Must be a home rule that I've just been adamant about using over the years.
And that sounds like maybe something that was used in the past edition, because that sounds really familiar. Yeah, I'll go ahead and shoot at one of the floating tentacles. I believe no advantage because I was not hit. Does a 13 hit?
Hold on, I'm adjusting things on the stream. I apologize.
I don't think you're in the building.
Yeah, I'm floating outside.
I haven't
I've
even
got
rolled
600.
initiative for the monsters yet.
Oh, I apologize. Well, I'll keep my roll, but...
Yeah, you were outside the building. So you don't even know really that they've been engaged yet. This is a surprise round really only for Gerhardt and Misty, because they were very quiet. They were whispering to one another, and then Misty's just like, "I shoot them," and then she just shot.
Okay, so we'll just pass my turn?
Yeah, so it'll just come to Misty here.
Okay.
I will shoot the thingy in the middle,
Okay.
and because I am assassin, I get advantage on attack. It's 21 to hit.
And auto crit on hit if you actually hit.
I was going to say, are they surprised? I assume.
They are surprised, so it is an auto crit. As you do, the casket immediately powers down, and you watch as both of the tentacles fall out of the air.
Oh, that works.
Nice shot.
Do 46 damage, by the way. Thank you.
My sword is
Okay, it's all right.
my sword is like 3 inches out of the sheath, and then I just kind of put it back in.
I turn back and say, okay, it's okay, you can come in now.
Somebody just say help me.
That's what I heard. Hey, there is a casket up here, right? Just like what that backstabbing bastard was in.
Please let me out.
I slide off of their biscuit and I run to the coffin and I say, hey, who are you? And I knock on the coffin.
I'm going to also approach the coffin, but before I do that, I'm going to yell out to everybody else, come on in, we found something interesting in this strange laboratory workshop place.
So
well, actually,
you ask who are you? And you hear him return. High Priestess, we are expecting you. With a different voice than what you heard a moment ago.
Still from the coffin?
It seems to be coming from inside the coffin, yes.
Are we?
Hey, we need a paladin, please.
Are we in combat still?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If we are, then I'm.
I guess I did a whole bunch of stuff then.
No,
Ah,
we're not in combat here.
Okay. Moving up, I'm going to use Divine Sense to detect undead or whatever else it was. Undead.
Link Divine Sense for me again? Oh, perfect. You do not sense any undead fiends or celestials.
Okay. Interestingly enough, I don't sense any undead or fiends or celestials for that matter in this general area, unlike the last coffin thing we found. Tap tap. Hello in there. Identify yourself or yourselves.
The High Priestess is expecting you. It's the exact same voice and tone that you heard a moment ago.
Are
Hello? You hear a desperate sound of a woman's voice going, hello? With fear in her voice.
Are you the High Priestess?
We've been expecting you. A large man's voice seems to echo from inside.
You've been expecting me?
There are lots of people in there.
What do I have in my
How similar is the coffin to Centimere's?
They're very similar.
I mean, are they identical though?
No.
No? Okay.
larger? 'Cause it
Let
sounds
me
like it's-
go. Let me go, please. I'll do anything.
Are you aware of me out here, or are you just speaking? Misty, I'm not sure that they know we're out here.
I don't think so either.
Let me out, please. You there.
Oh,
I see you. Don't move.
Oh,
apparently
maybe they
we've
are
been.
talking. No, they are talking to her. Maybe inside. It's like a whole world inside.
Can I get some insight into if this voice seems to be like conscious of our existence?
Open the chest.
Oh, okay. I would like to speak to the other voice, please.
Free me, please. They're all
That's the one
different
who talked to
voices.
her.
So none of these voices are the same. So even the female voices are all distinct from one another. The male voices, some of them more gruff, some of them are higher, some of them are deep, and like if they're talking to one another.
I'm going to kind of turn, gesture for the rest of the party to come in, and say, like, I think we should crack this open and see what's inside. But we should prepare first.
I'm gonna put my head out from around my illusion and hold up a finger with over my mouth to indicate quiet, so that we don't give away how many of us there are.
I think this is unwise, but my curiosity is piqued.
Before we do anything with the box, can I look around the room and see if there's any indication of what this might be, or how it might work, or anything like that? And if it's too complicated for my simple mind to figure out, I will share it with Motete or Grandma or Remark or Misty.
Give me an investigation check. With
I
advantage.
will help investigate. I will help you investigate.
Yeah, with advantage.
Investigate.
So the coffin here, as you kind of take a step back and look at it, you realize that it's vaguely shaped, almost like a squid or a kraken of type. And it's the casing around it's very clockwork and mechanical. It has squid eyes. You didn't notice it because it had powered down when you shot it. Now you're kind of taking a look at the shape of it, and from the distance you had looked at it before, you notice that it is very similar to the tentacles that were floating around. But whatever this coffin part is almost like the engine that runs this mechanical clockwork kraken.
Question for the DM. Do I see within like the broken tentacles and everything, thin filaments of wire that I could potentially use?
You dig through it. The clockworks don't really have wires.
Okay,
They're
do I
very
see,
mechanical, very gear oriented. They don't really have wires.
Okay, do I see anything in this area, given that it's a warehouse, mechanical in nature, that could be used to construct a very rudimentary net/trap? I'm attempting to use these tools so that the second we decide to open it, that if anybody tries to rush out, I have a trap that is prepared to spring on them.
Do you have any tools that might assist you in this? Like
These
tool
tools, that's
proficiencies?
one of the things that you're allowed to use them for via Xanathars.
What tools?
These tools.
You can make traps with these tools? Give me an intelligence thieves tools check then.
Ouch. Okay. I'm just gonna give you an intelligence and then add some more to it just because I don't have any dex or these tools prepped for that. So 6 plus proficiency, which is 3.
You make it
9.
okay. You make an okay trap. It's not really quite up to your standards. You dig it up and pull out some quote unquote wires here and there that you did find kind of scattered throughout the warehouse, and you put some stuff together, but a lot of this is kind of way out of your understanding. Like, some of these are very advanced machinery, and even just taking it apart, it's like mind-boggling to you. But you have an okay trap that you think you might be able to use to spring on anything that pops out of this if you open it.
Yeah, something designed to be more like hindering in movement nature instead of damaging per se.
Okay.
Grandma will volunteer to open the chest because, you know, if she takes some damage, whatever, but she's really good at resisting mental effects.
Go away and hide then.
Yeah, I'm gonna not argue with Grandma and take a step back. I will, however, mention that we should take our positions and be on the ready, and then right before you open it, I would like to cast Bless.
So dark. Why is it so dark? No, don't put me in front of her. Anything but that.
I guess.
This is the Panther baby cry moment.
Right, well.
I'm going to bless Grandma, myself, and who else would be good to get bless? One other person.
Misty's our DPS.
What's that?
Misty's our DPS.
You said Misty?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's more effective than her daily damage.
Alright, then I am concentrating on bless. It only lasts 1 minute, so let's get this going.
Do your thing, Grandma.
You open it then, Grandma?
Cowabunga.
Grandma reaches out, now freshly blessed by Gerhardt, and opens the coffin. Inside, you see the corpse of a Kenku, but it is completely jellified. It looks almost as if it's been turned into a mold. It's bubbling and goozing a bit as it breathes in and out.
Oh shit.
Then it goes, the light! It's so nice. I haven't seen it for years. With the voice of a small child.
Oh, Kenku.
Attached to this Kenku, you see there is a helmet on its head and shackles around its wrists. It is unable to move, and coming out of the shackles are a thin silver line that goes into the back of the coffin. Also coming out of the helmet is another thin silver line.
Who are you?
Please release me. Why are you doing this to me? I don't want to be here.
Thin silver lines have been associated with astral projection.
Motete, give me an Arcana check.
Okay.
Does it seem like Grandma's gonna have to use her calming grandma demeanor and calm him down a little bit?
Oh, Motete knows everything.
And your first
nice
impression
roll.
is completely correct, Motete. You immediately realize that this is some kind of arcane silver cord connected to the astral plane. Of some, it's like an astral silver cord, exactly.
Real occult knowledge for the win.
Yeah. Astral projection. I'm not familiar with that. Can someone explain to me what that might mean?
So, you did ask, who are you? And then the Kenku once again repeats, the High Priestess has arrived. This is the third time you've heard her say that after asking, who are you or where are you at?
I don't know what that means.
So it's like somebody's utilizing a conduit to its physical form for multiple spirits.
So she kind of shakes her arms a bit. She
That's
kind of
player
shakes
one,
her arms a
right?
bit. They're jiggling because her whole body is jellified. And then she goes, please release me. You don't have to keep me here.
We are not keeping you here. We only just found you like this.
Who are you people? Why have you trapped me in these shackles? Release me at once. This is a man's voice this time.
Oh, is my calming effect not working?
If I had to guess, this was some sort of awful contraption that is using this Kenku's body to funnel spirits through the astral plane.
Real quick, DM, could we get a ruling on Grandma's attack on the motion?
The Kenku doesn't seem agitated.
Motete, based on your experience with this astral projection, do you know what would happen if we were to sever it?
If you sever the silver cord in an astral projection, it will kill. It will sever the soul from the body.
I have no desire to kill this poor soul.
He's
Mine is
already
also
dead.
identified already.
He's already dead. I'll come forward
don't-
and take out my short sword and try to cut the line. Cut the silver cord.
You reach your sword in, and as you do, the Kenku goes, I am Galeth the Strong. Release me from these bonds.
Oh, I pull my sword back.
What are you doing? No, please. Why have you stopped? Do you want to be hurt? Beg for it.
I'm gonna come out from behind my illusion and gesture to the rest of the party to back up, and indicate with hand gestures for Misty to be ready to fire. And I'm gonna try and use Mage Hand Ledger Main to undo the bonds on the gelatinous form.
They're just shackles.
Yeah, I'd like to use my those tools with maybe a letter vein to release the shackles.
Yeah, give me a dexterity thieves tools check, I guess.
Not so great.
Entities who speak through this body of this Kenku. Where do you reside? From where? What other plane are you speaking from?
Please, we're just humble peasants. We're just passing through. We don't. No, not her. I am the High Priestess. Oh, sorry, she says the High Priestess has arrived.
I hold up the glass Medusa head and say, "Does this mean anything to you?"
Kneel before me. You hear a slithering voice almost.
Ooh.
Look me in the eyes.
I do the opposite of that.
I was gonna say, the second that happens, I pull out my shield and I start using the shield to observe everything I can around us.
Grandma, you do divine sense she is undead.
Ooh. When you say she, do you mean
The Kenku.
the Kenku is undead? Okay. Well, I have no qualms about killing it now, if it is in fact undead.
While you guys do that, I'm gonna go ahead and hop on my broom and pop back out, make sure nothing's rushing towards us right now.
Perhaps this body is a conduit to all the people who are been turned into glass. Their souls or spirit.
No. And then you just hear chanting. Praise be to Gloine, Nathar, Nathar. Praise be to Gloine, Nathar, Nathar. Release me.
Is there a halfling among you?
See a halfling?
Yeah, I asked, is there a halfling among you?
Why are there so many Kenku here?
Halfling, were you not in the observatory? Tell me what happened.
You're a pretty little halfling, aren't you? You'll make a wonderful statue for the goddess.
I wish to speak to the halfling, not you.
I am not who you think I am. The
Seems
High
that you-
Priestess has arrived.
We keep saying that. Did I see anything approaching from the outside?
You do not.
Okay. Given the area that we are, I'd like to use Silent Image to make it appear as if it's blank wall, so that there's not from the outside. It doesn't look like there's any point of entry.
Okay. You do that.
And then I'm just going to essentially use it as a one-man mirror to keep an eye out as for the party while they're dealing with this.
I'm gonna go ahead and draw my sword, and I don't know if bonus actions can be used outside of combat, but I'm going to ignite the flame feature of it.
Absolutely.
Alright. Does anybody else have any questions for this poor thing before we attempt to free/destroy it?
Don't kill me, please. Please take off the shackles. Let me go. No, not her.
Result of my 11 on the thief who stepped on the tackle.
Oh, I didn't know if you were actually doing that because there was a whole bunch of other things going on at the same time. Yeah. So you send your mage hand down in there, and the shackles come apart. She goes, "That's so much better."
Do they move
And
at all?
now we roll initiative.
So the Kenku blob is free?
He still has a helmet on.
Oh, that's right.
And the helmet is in some way securing it in there.
You don't know.
Well, might as well
Um,
wait for it. I'll attempt to use the mage hand to also remove the helmet.
So you take the helmet off, and you hear the sound of the area around you kind of. And it seems to kind of spread from all around you. Not just the coffin itself, not just the kraken it's attached to. You hear this kind of sound from everywhere around this building. It's almost kind of just shakes the building just a little bit, not a lot, just like a little bit. You hear this like, and then there's an unusual quiet that follows it.
I get the feeling we just took the batteries out.
She goes,
Go ahead,
this
Cor.
time she speaks in a gnome's voice. "Ooh, this apparatus shall be mighty fine for allowing me to move amongst this gelatinous cube."
Is she referring to the Kraken?
Oh, and then I'll make a kraken as well to protect the area. Just connect wires here, connect wires there. All this is in this same gnome's voice. Oh, this machinery is genius. I'll connect an astral cord in there, and then I'll allow it to power the kraken. It'll work as a perfect defense mechanism for my town. We'll shove this terrible high priestess in here. This is what you've earned, dearie, for locking me up. Sacrificing all those people to that Medusa.
Could I make a stealth check and then go around other areas of the warehouse to look and see if there's anything else in the warehouse of interest?
Sure. Give me a stealth check
do
and
so
a
in the
perception check.
So I've got the hood on, so that's a 28 on the stealth.
Okay.
And then that crit on the perception.
So you notice all around the garage, we're looking at the kind of drawings around as well as the parts. You see that scattered around this area is this kind of bits and pieces of remains of this massive prototype of a kind of under a vehicle of some kind that it can be put together. You're looking at the drawings. It almost looks like a crab when it's assembled, but the pieces are kind of scattered around.
Are we
Talking
able
about that
to?
thing from page 194 or something from the DMG that almost like a submersible kind of thing?
Almost, yes.
The Kraken, is that something that we can all get inside?
The Kraken is not part of the design. The Kraken is kind of filled with clockwork mechanisms and various other bits and pieces here. It is not necessarily something you can climb inside. The coffin itself only seems to have space for the Kenku that was inside. She has not left the coffin after you disconnected, but she is being much more cooperative as far as her discussions now. She seems to be speaking almost solely in this gnome's voice.
Are the silver threads still there?
The silver threads are still attached to the shackles and the helmet, but they are no longer attached to the Kenku inside.
Okay. Greetings,
Oh, hi, Daoine.
Kenku. Can you understand us?
Yes, I'll do anything.
Is it still in Gnome's voice?
No, that was a distressed female's voice.
Are you able to move? You seem to be worse for wear.
These restraints are killing me. Let me go immediately. I can't move.
You're no longer restrained, but I don't think your body still has anything left in it. And Grandma, you said this was undead?
Unfortunately, yes, I'm
Any thoughts on what we should do with it? I feel like there's some information to be learned, but I can't imagine what.
could we utilize Gerhardt? If you can continue your dialogue with it, can you see if you can get the gnome to assist us in building the diagram that she was speaking of? The creature that, or the device that she was talking about was able to navigate the ooze.
I grab whoever had the drawings. I believe it was you, Remote. I grab one of the drawings, kind of hold it up so the Kenku can see it, and say, "Does the gnome within you recognize this?"
We'll put together an apparatus, so allow me to, move through the ooze unabridged. Ah, yes, this is brilliant. And I'll power it with this silly high priestess. This is what you deserve for sacrificing all those people to the Medusa.
The device was powered by a priestess? I can't make heads or tails of this.
It sounds as if, given the soul tether that Motete was talking about, that maybe the inventor utilized souls to power the device that we're potentially looking at building.
Is the high priestess this Kenku?
The high priestess stands before you.
Okay.
So can I sit down with Motete and we start trying to gather up? Like, I act as his gopher to go gather up the parts necessary, start putting things together.
I think maybe this Kenku will power this contraption.
Yeah, if we want to power it, we're gonna have to put it back in.
Well, we might actually have to transfer the shackles on the helmet to the device once we've built it. We just haven't built the device yet.
That's all you guys. I have no skill in that regard.
Right, that's why I'm acting as a gopher. Like, it's not, I'm trying to be Motete's extension of his hands to go gather what he needs.
Try to build the things based on the plans if we can.
I'll do heavy lifting, but that's about it.
Maybe Grandma and Motete brains of the operation for us.
So are you
guess-
going to try and see if you can figure out the plans then?
Yeah.
Give me an Arcana check, please.
Okay.
No, but to say, as you guys kind of go through and gather all of these the diagrams and drawings and notes, you're able to kind of decipher, and you're going through them and figuring out the notes. It's really ingenious what he's done. He's kind of designed this submarine that has this ability to preserve air and be airtight. It also has these levers that can mechanically control these claws. It is the most advanced technology you've ever seen in your life. But the most important bit that you've noticed is that Kwalish, who is the person who has designed these, and he's got his name written all over it, has decided to construct a hidden laboratory within an extra-dimensional space. He's done some experimenting on several of the city's materials. It looks like he's experimented on quite a bit of the glass in the area. He's got all these notes about his experiments. And you realize that within the apparatus of Kwalish that he has created that allows him to move through the city, he's also included this biomechanical umbilicus, basically an umbilical cord, that you can attach to these babbles, is what he calls them, in order to connect to the interdimensional spaces within. And it'll open this portal that allows you to enter them. And it looks like he was working on creating a location where he could build his final laboratory to continue his research. But using that, you're able to find all the pieces to this giant mechanical apparatus Kwalish, and you guys are able to successfully build an apparatus Kwalish.
Sweet.
Sweet indeed.
Yeah, that's
A real
the
big
thing
one.
with us.
And it's fully powered.
Yeah, the powering mechanism was in one of the piles somewhere else. It does actually not need to be powered by the Kenku.
Excellent. But I'm looking at the damage immunities. It's not immune to acid, so it may be it may last for a while, but it's going to be taking damage while we're in the ooze.
You can tell based on the notes that you read that this thing will not take damage from the use.
Okay, good. Sorry, I was reading out what it said on the apparatus polish.
I know, but yeah, this one in particular will not take damage from the ooze. It
Okay.
can be used to safely dive into the gelatinous ooze.
Before we utilize this, my dear companions, what say we board up for the night, take a full rest, so that whatever we do next, we are fully rested and prepared for.
That sounds good as long as we're doing so in a relatively safe environment. Also, will horses fit, or a horse and an elk fit inside this apparatus?
This apparatus is huge. It can actually house 10 medium or smaller creatures.
So the 5 of us plus the 2 speed should be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. In that case, what do you guys think?
We want
what
to
should-
board up here and just utilize the extra materials that aren't being utilized to secure
Um,
the place.
We disabled the defense system when we took out the Kenku.
Right, I'm more worried about external threats at this point.
I can cast a tiny hut.
Oh, excellent.
Everybody hut for the win. Nice.
Yeah. It's so tiny and adorable.
That works for me.
Before we do that, does anybody have reason to maintain the existence of this undead monstrosity?
I feel like I would defer to Motete in this because of his experience with the undead. Because not all undead are
He has not
abominations
posed
per se.
any threat to us. He may still be of some use to us, some capacity.
Well, I agree with you. I am a little nervous in that, according to the gnome inventor's voice, this Kenku may be responsible for the Medusa that is here.
Right, sacrificing everybody to the Medusa. Which, before we get too far into exploration, I'm personally of the opinion that we need to find and eliminate the threat prior to get into caught up in exploration, so that we don't get caught off guard to the side. And I would also like to draw on our collective knowledge as a group and see if anybody has a way to circumvent what seems to be the almost permanent downside of looking at a Medusa.
Don't look at the Medusa.
How do we kill it?
I mean, grandma's seen some shit, so couldn't, it would take a pretty low chance to get grandma. But I don't know about you guys.
Well, Grandma's got a decent aura of protection about her. I can feel it. Mine's weaker, but still there. And I can also bless us to help.
PM, could I make I don't know if it'd be history, what you would determine it, to see if the idea with the shield would actually work for a Medusa?
Be a nature check.
Alright.
Yeah.
So that's
From what you know about Medusas, if you can get them, they can be affected by their own stare. So the polished shield would be effective in potentially reflecting her own stare back at her. In Perseus style.
that was not what I was thinking about at all. I was thinking more about whether we could use the polished stare to see her without being turned into stone. But yeah, that's interesting.
I could also turn her into something else with this cool sword that you guys let me play with.
Or turn yourself into something.
So should we take a long rest, or do we dare not risk it?
I'd take the long rest because we've been burning a lot of Motete's resources at this point.
Oh boy.
Are there any elves among us? No,
Not me.
bummer. Can't get that sweet trance.
Well, keep in mind, he's got the Liam's tiny hut that he's throwing up for us, so unless something comes through the floor, we're fine.
Yeah. I'm worried about when the hut goes away and we're surrounded,
Well, we can see
We're
through the hut
surrounded.
when we wake up, though.
but we'll be asleep.
You don't necessarily have to sleep a full 8 hours.
True.
So we could do sentries and shifts to keep an eye if something's out. And on top of that, Motete, you're familiar. Keep an eye while we're in the zone, correct?
Yeah.
To alert us if anything comes.
The DM allows it.
So,
I don't see why I wouldn't.
are we
Alright.
going to take the long rest?
I'm fine with resting up.
You guys got a Liam and Tiny Hut. Nothing's gonna mess with you during your long rest. So, yeah, you guys have a long rest.
This will be my first
You
time
have
in a...
Sharon keeping an eye out through most of the night, and she does not seem to see anything.
My first time in a tiny hut. How exciting. It's a bit snug.
Sorry, Tulip, there's no room in the hut for you.
I mean, it's 20 feet across. It's a 10-foot radius, so it's a 20-foot diameter. It's a fairly spacious room.
Yeah, but I'm trying to practice social distance, and it's too crowded with just here.
Good on you, Grandma.
I'm one of the vulnerable population, you see.
Grandma, question: why is your AC listed so low?
Well, I changed my armor earlier to my leather armor, so that I could be more mobile, but I think I'm gonna put Eddie's old armor back on now that we're taking a long rest.
Okay. Alright, so long rest done unless anybody has anything they need to do.
Well, I guess we get in the apparatus and go to the next.
Going in the apparatus to go explore right now, or do you guys want to go track down that Medusa and get the Medusa out of the way?
I think it's kind of one and the same because we don't know where the
Okay,
Medusa
yes.
is.
I'm laying heavy odds as a character. Heavy odds as a character. It's in the temple with the Medusa head.
That's true. Probably the closest building to us, anyways.
Yeah, I say let's go take a look and cautiously.
Do we want to attempt to engage the Medusa using the apparatus?
Not
We'll
sure
have to
how we
see.
would do that.
Emily?
What did the Kenku do while we rested?
Babbled a bit. She seemed to sleep. It's hard to tell with her jellied form. She repeats quite a few of the phrases you've heard recently, but every so often she kind of says a sigh of relief as well.
Do you believe that this undead should be left as is? Because you're right, if it's not harming anyone. That was the
Well-
open question to anybody.
What's that there? How do you feel about it? Because part of me says, let the creature go on to rest in peace if we don't have a reason for keeping it around anymore.
Many folk have a distinct prejudice against undead. I do not. And like I said before, it could serve some use. If we were to destroy it, then what then can we learn from it?
I understand. Its presence unsettles me, but I'm willing to defer to your judgment.
Well, why don't we just ask it, and if it wants to stay, then we let it stay, and if it wants to go to the afterlife, then we send it there.
Go
Fair
for
to
it,
me.
Grandma.
Miss Kenku, do you want to stick around, or do you want to go hang out with my husband Eddie in the afterlife?
Kill me, please. Surely it's better than what you're going to do to me. I don't want to be a statue.
Smite!
You smite it. The jelly form collapses. When you look, little remains of the Kenku that was there a moment ago.
Anything else of
Alright.
interest in here before we leave?
Any more baubles to unlock the laboratory of Kwalish?
Alright. Shall we head over to the next building on the list?
Sure. And Cora, if you responded to that, we didn't hear you.
I didn't respond.
So no baubles to be found.
Can I do a final perception check just to make sure?
Sure. You don't find any weird crystals with rainbow patterns in them anywhere in this building.
Or anything of particular value?
Lots of gold.
Eh.
You find a lot of like valuable components that you think some tinkerer, inventor, or maybe an artificer might be find useful. Kwalish is, from what you could tell from this garage, he is centuries ahead of his time. This guy was an absolute mastermind. Like, he's just making things that nobody's even possibly thought of, and he just doesn't seem to share them to the world at all. The things that you find in here are bordering on high-level magics in comparison to other mechanical things throughout the world.
It's all gibberish to me. Shall we?
Ourselves a veritable gold mine, though.
Who would like to drive the apparatus?
Well, like I said, they took my license away a long time ago.
Should we go ahead and have the most intelligent take the helm in case it's intelligence-based checks? So, Motete, you take helm, and then the rest of us will act in your direction.
If you think that is wise, I will take the helm.
Yeah, I prefer that if possible.
Oh, I know you can do it, Motete.
And they're off.
Okay, where would you guys like to head to?
I guess the building over here.
Go to the Medusa Temple.
So, taking a time to kind of familiar yourself with the levers here, you put the thing together. You were the one that kind of analyzed all the specs. So you get an idea for how everything works. You pull a few here to get a feel for it, but you have the handout of what the levers can do, and using that, you're able to kind of move around. You go down into the ooze, and you're able to kind of swim through the ooze. Now you extend the tail, you swim through. You can move through the ooze without an issue.
Fantastic.
You move over to the I need to check something really, really quick. I'm sorry. Okay. You move over to what is very clearly a temple of some kind. The windows here are all kind of filled with stained glass. They're in decent repair. They also have like metal bars going through them, so you wouldn't actually be able to fit through. So you kind of climb around the outside till you can find a location that you can enter in. At the top of the tower here, you notice that it is ringed and it seems to be covered in a dome of glass statues. Each of the glass statues is unique. They are a person, mostly Kenku, that has been... They're all facing inward. They're very intertwined with one another. They're like hundreds of people kind of intertwined and laced around one another, pressed very tightly so there's no space between them. but they're all these glass statues of individual people staring inward.
They're glass. Can we see what's at the center of this dome?
At the center of the dome, you see there is an empty room with broken shackles attached to the wall.
One would think that this is where it all began. Oh, did we exit the container or the apparatus, or are we still inside it?
You
I'm
guys are
saying-
inside of it.
Yeah, I would say we should go inside until we formulate our game plan.
Is the apparatus able to exit the ooze?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
kind of.
what we see is not in the ooze. Is that correct?
It's at the top of this tower up here.
Oh, okay.
It looks like the apparatus is designed in a way that it could probably climb up the side of things pretty well.
And that's how you got up here. You climbed to the side of the building.
Okay. I was thinking of more like a submarine.
Oh, no. This because it's got crab legs and stuff, so it can climb up the side of the building as well.
Okay.
It's a large mechanical crab.
Look at those broken shackles. That's a bit disconcerting.
We know there's a Medusa up here. If you guys want, I could attempt to stealth out and try and surprise it and get it to look in the mirror at itself. Or we can attempt to just go all the way gangbusters and try and just take it out by main force.
Surprise would be nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Perhaps we should find this Medusa.
That's, yeah, what I was going to suggest. Is surprise would be nice, but I'd rather not be surprised by it.
Right, I was going to say part of the concern is that if we all get out, if it manages to catch one of you guys before we catch it, then there's a potential of one of us getting hit with the turn of glass before.
I got an idea.
Yes, Grandma?
Now, did anybody know if this Medusa is wearing or carrying an object that's unique? Because I could use that Find My Keys app again, and maybe it would give us a location on it.
We didn't ask the High Priestess before we smoked her to her freedom.
Yeah, no idea.
Okay. Well, it's an idea, and if we ever get more intel on it, we can use it.
Yeah.
Are there any animals living in this area? I assume not because of the ooze.
Oh, Motete, why don't you go ahead and use Karam to go and scout the area, see if he can locate the Medusa forms.
Animals can turn to stone as well, though.
But
Lots.
isn't he a creature of the Fae where he can just be damped back or resummon if necessary?
Oh, I'll send my familiar to scout.
There's a large glass dome in your way.
Okay.
Oh, I
Is
thought
there,
you were saying.
is there no other way into the building?
You guys were not able to find another good way into the building. Most of the building is under the ooze. You could move in probably through the front door, underneath the ooze if you would like. But a lot of the buildings actually kind of collapsed and broken down. The windows themselves are mostly stained glass windows. They have like metal bars running through them. Give me an insight check, Motete.
Okay.
As you were kind of exploring this, moving all along in the apparatus of Kwalish, this place definitely is a temple, but it also almost seems like a prison at the same time.
So much mystery here.
I mean, if we can't get in, do you guys want to just use the apparatus and bust through the glass dome and just going like gangbusters. Use the apparatus to flush out the Medusa, and then we just go all the way in once it reveals itself.
Then can we use claws to pick people out and make a hole in their...
Just wanted to point out that while the chains are broken, it looks to be, or one would be wise to think that these Kenkus sacrifice themselves to create a barrier to trap whatever it is within.
But if that's the case, it didn't work because you look, the rest of the city's also glass. So, if they were attempting to contain it, I don't think they succeeded. If anything, they may have just been the initial ones that were caught within the Medusa's gaze. If you think about it, for some reason, they seem to have worshipped the creature.
I would think they are some sort of fanatics if they were willing to position themselves around this dome in such a manner.
And instead of having the noble self-sacrifice that I think your character is utilizing in a very optimistic sense, I think we're dealing with the other end of the spectrum here on the religious side.
By all means, bust it. Keeping my eyes closed though.
Well, actually, we're inside the apparatus, which should take care of that, I believe, if we put the shutters down.
Actually, yeah, how is it that we're seeing to the outside of the apparatus?
We just open up the shutters whenever we need to.
The shutters...
Lever 2 up equals forward shutter open. Lever 3 up equals side window shutters open.
Yeah, it's airtight, so I wanted to know, like, is it just like a transparent glass, or...
Yes.
Okay.
So, shall we utilize the apparatus's attacks to crush our way in?
We might as well. Fortune favors the bold.
Anybody mind if I go ahead and start rolling?
Crush.
Any last minute preparations?
Okay. So you begin pulling the lever. And these glass statues immediately shatter. You hear the sound of shattering glass outside. After the first hit, one of the creatures shatters in half, and several of the other bodies that were kind of interlaced with it fall through the hole, and you hear them as they move through. Crash. A large hole suddenly appears in front of you in the dome as the entire complexity of the interwoven bodies itself breaks down just with the breaking of one. What remains is this large hole with many pieces of shattered glass at the bottom. There's about a 25-foot drop down to the floor below.
Given the size of the apparatus, because you said it was huge, that's essentially a couple steps forward, right?
It's like open air between the top of this dome and the ground.
Right. Can it, given that we climbed up the side of the building, can it climb down the inside of the chamber?
Sure.
If that's okay with everybody else.
Yeah. Can safely go down.
You guys do that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And let's go ahead and close up the... why don't we close up all the shutters except for the front shutter, which I'll hide behind and have the mirror positioned for. The mirror shield that I discovered earlier. Cora.
So you guys climb down the side. As you do, you hear coming out from the staircase next to this at the end of this room. You come into a large. Let me describe the room actually. The walls are kind of lined with these painted murals, and on the painted murals you see this picture of this Medusa standing before prisoners that are being slowly turned to glass as they're forced to stare in her eyes. There are paintings of these large contingencies of Kenku and other various beings who are bowing before her. Several Kenku in praise before her as they willingly stare into her eyes, be turned to glass statues. You see that there are murals of the Kenku taking people and shaping them and forcing them into unique positions so that they become statues of beauty as they stare into the eyes of this Medusa.
This is sick.
And as you hear sounds of whispering, crazed ramblings coming from the staircase, and the noise has attracted the attention of the Medusa herself. But she does not look as she does in the pictures. Coming from the staircase, you see a skeletal form slithering its way up. All bones. Do I have a handout that shows what she looks like? I think I meant to make one. I might not have actually made it. I did not make it. I'm sorry.
Can you zoom in on her token? Shift C or something like that? Or controls? Yeah. Ooh. Spooky.
So it looks like she still does have eyes that she can do her.
Isn't she lovely?
On the walls, you see, other than the murals, there's a large, empty window. It does not seem to reflect any light at all. It almost seems to be blank. You look at it, it's got like this gray sheen to it, but doesn't seem to be reflecting anything. On the opposite walls, directly opposite, are the shackles that are broken you had seen before from above. The Medusa, as she comes up, she's not mimicking to herself, she's hissing to herself. She's like, the priests and their inane babble, always repeating the prisoners. If I ever find that high priestess, I'm going to murder her. I know she's still out there. I can sense her. I can feel her presence. She has not died. Not after all this time. No. Oh, you have guests. Welcome. Are you here to serve me? Oh. Wonderful crab. Look me in the eyes, crab.
Turn the crab so that it faces her.
You turn the crab so that it faces her.
And she looks in, and the first thing she's going to see is the mirrored shield.
Thank you.
She looks in, and she sees, reflected on the polish, she goes, "Who is that awful creature of bones?" And then she makes a save. And she looks away. She goes, "You attempt to trick me."
Could I then do lever 2 down to close the forward shutter?
You pull the lever, the shutter closes. Shoo! Come out, wherever you are.
So, how do you guys want to do this? She's not going to fall for that twice.
Blow her up.
We could attempt to grapple her with the creature with our apparatus before we go in and fight her. Put her in a position where she's in a disadvantage.
I don't think she will cooperate with us.
Right. No, I suggest we destroy her. Do we want to grab her first and then go fight her?
With the apparatus? Yes,
Yeah,
of
if you
course.
look at lever 5 down, you have the ability to grapple with it.
Go for it. While you're doing that, I'm gonna cast Bless at 2nd level.
Well, let's
So-
go ahead and roll initiative then, I guess.
Do you want the apparatus to have a separate initiative? Or does it just whoever's utilizing the levers takes their initiative with the apparatus?
A creature uses their action to use the apparatus's abilities. The apparatus has no initiative.
Just asking because it did have an initiative tracker on it.
It's only literally an NPC just so you could click the attacks. It's not for any other reason.
Motete, would you like the effects of Bless, or would it be of no use to you?
Yeah, I'm having a little connection issue. Could you roll mine for me? And I'll be on in like 2 seconds.
I think
Got you, friend.
since I'm operating the apparatus, yeah, I'll take Bless.
Okay. So, all but, I guess, Grandma get blessed? Or is there someone better who...
I mean, you could take me. My game plan, once we start fighting, is to go and hide, and then I'm essentially going to be shooting while averting my gaze, so intentionally giving myself disadvantage and advantage at the same time from hopefully the hide. But I'll be floating pretty far away. Because when we open up that back hatch, I'm going to dip out. Motete, are you going to stay with the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess everybody but Grandma gets blessed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So once you guys shut the shutter and Gerhardt casts Bless, she goes, "No, no, no. You're mine." She leaps on the outside of the edge of the apparatus. And her snake hair is going to make an attack on the apparatus. The apparatus actually have an AC.
20.
It does.
20 armor
20.
class, 200 hit points, and immunity to poison and psychic damage. And apparently acid.
So she leaps on her snake hair. You hear a dink as the snake hair attacks the outside, dealing 4 piercing damage to the apparatus. And then you hear a dink as she has this short sword kind of made out of bone as well that just kind of deflects harmlessly off the outside edge of the apparatus. Come out, High Priestess. I know you're in there. I don't know how you've lived for all of these years, but I will find you. I'm going to murder you for what you've done.
Didn't we destroy the High Priestess?
Grandma.
Did.
Alright. Grandma will get this party started. Is the back hatch open yet?
It does not. It requires an action by a player to open.
Well, she will cast Bless on herself and the 2 steeds, since they're the only ones that haven't been blessed yet. And be ready to move out on her next turn.
Okay.
No hard feelings, Grandma, on not blessing you? Yes, I hope not.
That is the Warhorse's turn.
Alright, the horse is going to... I'm going to telepathically communicate to avert its eyes. It's going to... I think it's 40... no, 60 feet. Go
It's
there.
still technically inside the apparatus. I just didn't have
Oh.
space.
Sorry. So then it can't leave because it can't use its action to open the door, so it's going to dodge.
Okay.
It's a lever. It's a lever and it's an intelligent creature.
No. Misty.
Just no.
Hi. I will open the hatch.
Okay, so Misty goes over and she pushes. Is it push or pull? I don't know. You pull the lever in a way, and the hatch in the rear opens up.
Then I will run to. Whoops. We'll run to this pillar and hide. I can.
Okay. Give me a stealth check. 26. You're pretty hidden. Gerhardt, the rear hatch is open. You are on a horse.
Oh, I am still on the horse?
If you want to be.
Yeah, it's not its turn, so I'm going to hop off the horse.
Okay.
And while averting my gaze, come up to the bone Medusa that's attacking or is attached to the apparatus or something.
She's attacking the opposite side of the apparatus.
Okay. I'm going to draw my sword while averting my eyes, so disadvantage on attacks, right? I'm going to bonus action, ignite the blade, and attack twice.
Okay.
And I'm going to use... Yeah, I'm going to use inspiration on that second attack to do the 14 plus 2. Is that okay? Or is that allowed?
Inspiration?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Inspiration. Okay.
Normally I ask you to declare inspiration beforehand, but I'm very tired today, so I'm only like, this last hour is like, I'm like, what? What are you guys talking about?
I can take it back and not do that.
No, that's fine. I don't. 16 will hit. 23 will hit for 11.
21.
11. 21 for the first hit. You slash into her. 16 will also hit for another 12. 19.
Yes.
She lets out a scream. Ah! She does not like that.
Alright, and I will end turn there. And this is a pillar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Shoot.
Remark.
Alright, I'm going to fly out. And on my way out, I'm going to use my action. Cast, and I do have the necessary silver for this. The powdered silver. Protection from evil and good on Gerhardt.
Okay.
Which means that any attacks from him by an undead creature have disadvantage.
Okay.
Nice.
And that's my concentration, and then I will fly up as high as I can with my remaining movement, and hiding behind the pillar, attempt to bonus action hide. Is that okay?
It's a touch spell. Yeah, so it's only 20. The room is only. I was calculating things. The room is only 25 feet high. So yeah, you can walk over, touch him, cast protection from evil and good. Say you fly above him out of range, so you're not taking op attacks, and then you go up 25 feet, and you can hide behind a pillar. That's fine. Yes.
So 22 stealth and end of turn.
What are your classes again?
I'm Warlock and Rogue. Arcade Trickster.
Gotcha. 22 stealth. Fine. Mo Tete.
I am going to try to grapple the lever down, but not look at her. So disadvantage, I presume.
You can't see her anyways because the shutters are technically closed at the moment. So you can attack with disadvantage. Yes.
Don't forget you got bless.
That will not affect the attack of the Kwalish.
Oh, bummer.
But a 21 will hit, and she is grappled.
Okay. So on a hit, target's grapple, escape, DC.
I think it also still does damage, doesn't it?
No.
No.
No, not for level 5 down. I apologize. And it only gets one attack per turn?
It's an action
Yeah.
to pull 2 levers.
Oh, is it?
So he's got another action he can do. Don't forget, you still got that back hatch open though.
Okay. Well, then I'll smack it. Scrambled.
So you can pull 2 different levers, but you can move them up or down.
Oh, so he can't go lever 5 down and then lever 5 back up. Because it's indicating 2 separate hands.
Hold on, I'm reading it just again. Creature in the compartment can use an action to move as many as 2 of the apparatus's levers up or down. After each use, the lever goes back to its neutral position. Each lever from left to right functions. Yeah, I think you could do that. You can lever up or lever down, then level up. So sure. You grab her with the one claw. The Kwalish apparatus reaches out and grabs her, and she lets out. She goes, "Let go of me!" And the other claw comes over and just crushes her for 7 bludgeoning damage.
All right. End of turn.
That is her turn. She is going to reach over to Gerhardt, and she goes, I shall turn you all into glass statues. Look at me when I'm talking to you. And she's going to snake hair Gerhardt. That's a 23 to hit, Gerhardt.
Disadvantage.
7 because of the disadvantage, right?
Yes. But 20 will miss.
20 hits.
And a 5. You have bless on. 20 will hit for 3 piercing. And a 15 will miss. I'm sorry. I'm not alive. I'm dead. Grandma. Do you avert your eyes?
That's a big negative, Ghost Rider. I'm going in for all the money.
Okay. Give me a Constitution saving throw, please. Woo! That would succeed.
Pull out the blade of polymorph and attack twice.
Okay. A 22 will hit.
It will be +2 on all these damage rolls from dueling, which is not programmed into it.
Okay, so it'll deal 4. That's fine.
And I'm going to put a juicy smite on that first one.
Oh, yeah.
For additional 24 damage on that thing. She is already looking real bad. She lets out a scream as you stab into her with the blade of polymorph and let out a smite. Lots of her bones are like cracking now. She's in very bad position at the moment. Warhorse.
Just dodge and turn.
He's staying inside the apparatus.
Yeah. Too
Misty.
much clutter.
Misty, do avert your eyes.
I do.
Okay.
But I was hidden, yes.
Yes.
So straight roll.
It's a straight roll, yes.
Say 22 to hit.
22 will hit for 24 piercing damage.
24 piercing damage. And then I will run to over here and use my feline agility and hide there.
Sounds good. Give me a stealth check.
I will do so.
Big Pokey fan. Here's your 2
18.
tips. 1, 2. You are hidden from her. Gerhardt.
Right, averting my eyes.
Okay.
I'm going to say, "Be gone with you, monstrosity." Attack twice. And hopefully
Both
hit?
of those will hit.
Oh,
Oh no,
it's
you have
you?
disadvantage, right?
Yeah, disadvantage.
The 14 will miss. The 15 will hit.
Alright, on the 15, I'm going to throw a smite in there.
Okay, so that is 11 damage you do to her. And you throw down your smite
Ignore the dueling.
for another 27 damage. And as you do, you stab straight into her heart, and you blow this smite up. A huge cavity appears, and she begins going, And she like collapses backwards into the grips of the Kwalish claw. Still, and you hear a tick-tick-tick-tick-tick-tick-tick as all of her bones kind of collapse and dink on the ground below her. She is dead. It happens to
Well
have two
done,
paladins
y'all.
in a party.
Well done. Good job, guys.
Heck yeah. Undead.
That protection from good and evil will come in useful.
Yeah.
Smoked. Smoten.
Okay. What would you guys like to do?
Let's look around and see if we can find anything of value.
Yes. That. Or any survivors, or any way to dispel, I guess, this effect.
We did that before and it killed them, remember?
Yeah. But I still don't think they should be left like this.
I mean, we could go around and shatter them if we want. It's seriously, like, if I burned a greater restoration, and when I brought them back, they were dead. So,
I remember.
so I'm not sure if there's another matter of recourse. Go ahead, Cor.
You guys kind of explore the temple looking for various things. So we'll discuss more next week because this will be in the session about what exactly is here for you guys to interact with. But you do actually find some items. She's wearing all kinds of gold chains and earrings and pieces that are all worth the value of the gold you're going to get for exploring for this session. But you also find 2 spell scrolls. One of them is Animate Dead, and one of them is Greater Restoration.
Ooh.
Good
And
to
you
have.
find a set of clockwork enhanced footwear that you immediately recognize as they'll kind of increase your movement speed and allow you to jump farther and stuff. These are boots of striding and springing with some flavor to them.
Neat.
So we are going to go ahead and end there. That'll be we'll continue there in the temple. There's some other things, including that window you guys had seen, the shackles, a few other things that are around that we will discuss next week. But I actually don't have a handout for Boots of Striding and Springing. Blame Sirach. I don't have a handout for it. I'm sorry. I didn't check to see if all the magical items are in here. But please denote all upset notions at Sirach. In the meantime, who can use Animate Dead besides Sirach, obviously?
Technically, I can right now with my ability to use the cards.
You wouldn't be able to use this scroll.
Animate Dead. Just clerics and wizards.
Clerics, Wizards, Death Domain, Circle of Spores, Oathbreaker. Okay. So 3 of those are not valid. So yeah, just Clerics and Wizards, I guess. Oh no, I just did not mean to do
So,
that.
the scroll goes to Matete. That's who I was going to suggest it goes to anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, Motete's the only one that can use it, I think. But if anybody would you guys still have the opportunity to roll on it, because you can technically take a scroll, give it to somebody else to cast. But if you guys want to just defer to Motete, that's fine with me too. So if you want to pass, just type pass in the chat. Otherwise, you may roll on it. Nice people give scrolls to Motete. So Motete, you get a scroll of Animate Dead. The
right,
other
thank
one is Greater Restoration.
Which either of our paladins can use, right?
I'm not so sure.
Greater Restoration
we'd
can
have
be
to- we'd
used
have to roll for it.
by Bard, Cleric, Druid, Artificer, and Celestial Warlocks.
So
I
not
thought paladins
paladins.
gained access to the spell at a certain level.
Nope.
No, they get it
I
via...
think Devotion Paladins do. I think Devotion Paladins do, but I think that's the only one.
Yeah, I'm not devotion, so.
But isn't Grandma a devotion paladin?
She's
Uh,
Redemption.
Demotion
Nah.
Paladins also do not get Greater Restoration.
Gotcha.
Redemption.
So can
Okay.
anybody use the scroll?
I think it's roll to see who gets it to give it to something else.
You can see. I mean, you can see it. You can give it to other people in other parties.
Right, but out of our current party, can anybody in this party use it? Because I'll
Not
pass
that
if someone in the party can use it. If not, I'll roll for it.
I don't think anybody can.
Alright, then I'll roll for it.
Yeah. If you would like the Greater Restoration Scroll, go ahead and make a roll.
I didn't want it as much as I thought I did. Which is not at all. So
If you don't want to, just go ahead and type pass, so I know that everybody is taking at least an attempt at it.
I already got a scroll, so I'll pass.
Okay. Let's do a roll off
there's still
then.
Grandma.
Variable Gerhardt, go ahead and each of you roll one more time, please.
There's still Grandma, though. She hasn't made a roll or declared pass.
Yeah, she is just again as well. Nope, that wasn't her. Grandma? Oh, Grandma rolled
She
a 2.
just rolled.
Gerhardt variable, go ahead and give me a roll off, please.
I feel like this is going to you, Gerhard.
You never know.
Oh!
Oh!
Nat 20.
There it is.
So Remart will get the Greater Restoration Scroll then.
Right. Alright.
Okay. Everybody unlock boots of striding and springing. They're very common. These ones have flavor as they are shaped like mechanical enhanced footwear. So these ones kind of have like a mechanical spring at the bottom that allow you to spring, and a roller wheels as well that allow you to move a little bit faster if your movement speed is below 30 feet. And with that, we will continue next week as you guys continue to explore this weird, kind of crazy, ooze-filled glass city. We may not finish next week, actually. We might go one more week after that.
Sounds good. I'm having fun with this, and I think that we're getting some good exploration going.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Cora. Get a good night's rest tonight.
Take
Thanks,
care, guys.
Laura.
Night.
Thank you
Take
very
it
Good
much.
night. Thanks, Cora.
All right, stream. That's where we're gonna end tonight. I will be back. Shit, when will I be back? Maybe Friday. Pokey, are you still here? Pokemon? Anybody? Calling once? Pokemon? No, don't leave me yet. Don't leave me yet. I have a good news. I will be starting up T-Prog again, either next week or the week after that. Getting my band back together. I'm gonna actually try and clear T this time. If we clear T fast enough, we're also gonna try and do Uwu and Ucob. But I gotta trial some people, so I will be doing more FF14 streams again. You can watch me be bad at that again. So I'm not sure if that's starting Tuesday this week or Tuesday next week, but I'll be doing trials and stuff. I'll be doing T-Prog and hopefully actually getting my, which one is it? Perfect Legend title. Hell yeah, big T stream fan. All right, I'm gonna head to bed. Night, guys. Love you. Perfect Legend core incoming, indeed. No core, no Lala core, never again. I will never make that bet again. I don't have any more Fantasias. I only did that because I had a Fantasia I hadn't used. I'm not buying a Fantasia for a bet anymore. So I am going to bed though. Good night. Love you. Bye.